Welcome to the 10th annual Harwood Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Chris Langevin. I am the Athletics and Activities Director here at Harwood Union High School. I want to thank all the family and friends that came out tonight. It's a very special night for our inductees. And to the inductees, thank you. Thank you for paving a trail, for setting an example for the faculty, staff, and students of Harwood that came after you. At this time, I would like to welcome the Master of Ceremonies, Dwight Fiske.
Those stairs are a little more difficult to get up each year. I don't understand why, but they are. Good evening, inductees, families, and friends. I have the honor of sharing a fantastic evening with you as we induct 6 legends of Harwood into the Harwood Union Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is founded, and I quote, "to honor past students, faculty, staff, and friends who through their actions have brought distinction to Harwood Union, Waitsfield, or Waterbury High Schools and themselves." Our inductees this evening certainly have more than fulfilled that statement with their outstanding achievements. Sharing the evening with us is a lady who has served the Harwood community as a teacher, coach, mentor, and administrator. She's performed all of the responsibilities in those various areas at the highest level of performance. It is my pleasure to introduce the principal of Harwood Union, Mrs. Lisa Atwood.
Thank you, Dwight. Welcome. Very proud to have you all here at Harwood Union tonight. I know for some of you, you haven't been here in this cafeteria or in these halls in a very long time. So I want to welcome you back. I want to say thank you, as Chris mentioned, for all the things that you did when you were here and the things that you continued to do after you left. The examples that you demonstrated, the leadership, the mentoring, when you were here, are characteristics that we know you have with you wherever you go. So we appreciate all that you've done when you were here as an athlete or a mentor, a teacher, a member of our co-curricular program, and we're extremely appreciative. On behalf of the administration and the Harwood community, we thank you. I'd also like to thank Chris and the Hall of Fame committee, Dwight, and I think Mr. Casey put a lot of effort and time into planning this, and it's a wonderful evening. It's a wonderful evening for our inductees, their families, and invited guests, and we couldn't be more proud. So thank you for your efforts. Events like this don't happen without the hours of volunteering and hard work that goes into it. And again, we're greatly appreciative. Have a wonderful evening.
Our legends this evening have statistics, photographs, television, and newspaper coverage, as well as performances before hundreds and thousands of spectators over a period of time. They haven't been like some people who are like wheelbarrows and had to be pushed in order to get the job done. Their performances and records represent the time commitment and work ethic that they had to commit to in order to achieve their success. Our legends provide role models and guidelines for success for each of us in our respective professions. Keith Wallace was a member of the Waterbury High School class of 1927 and participated on the debate team. He continued his education at Syracuse University, receiving a B.S. cum laude in animal husbandry in 1932. His charisma, wit, and telling of anecdotes drew people to him. He served Waterbury as a volunteer for the 1927 flood cleanup, as town auditor 1935 through 37, town meeting moderator 1960 through 94. It's quite a duration to stay up in front of that angry crew sometimes. Town Planning Commission, Waterbury School Board member, 1937 through 65. Vermont State School Directors Association president, 1953-54. 4-H club leader, 11 years. Moderator for the Harwood Union school meetings, 1968 through 76. Waterbury Grange number 237, Harmony Pomona Grange, 1932 through 65. Wesley United Methodist Church, Sunday school teacher, lay preacher, and multiple committees. President of the Vermont Church Council, 1953 through 55, and member of the Vermont Folklife Society. He was a representative to the Vermont General Assembly, 1949-50 and 1981 through 86, and state senator for Washington County, 1975 through 78. Keith was a member of the Washington County Farm Bureau, 1933 through 95, president 1943-44. He was the president of the Vermont State Farm Bureau, 1953 through 1974. This led to many speaking engagements and memberships in many organizations throughout the United States. He was on the board of directors of the American Farm Bureau Association, 1960 through 69, trustee at the Eastern States Exposition, 1954 through 94, and member of the Executive Committee, 1959 through 72. Member of the Vermont Development Commission, 1947 through 1953, and a member of the Mount Mansfield Co-op Creamery, 1948 through 53, and president of the Co-op Council, 1947 through 49. Keith received the 1975 Vermont State Chamber of Commerce Citizenship Award. 1989 brought the George D. Aiken Agriculturalist of the Year Award. Next was the Paul Harris Fellow Award for Rotary International. He was the recipient of the 1992 American Farm Bureau Federation Award for Distinguished Meritorious Service. 2003 brought induction into the Vermont Agriculture Hall of Fame. The Vermont Farm Bureau created its highest award in 1975, the Wallace Award. Keith accomplished all of this while maintaining a farm on Blush Hill. Waterbury's treasurer, passed in June 1995. It is my pleasure to ask a lady who ran a bakery in Waterbury with her husband for many years and has traveled from Ohio to be with us tonight, Roanne Wallace Dufresne, to please come forward.
Wally, Rosina, and I thank the Harwood Union Hall of Fame Committee for selecting our dad, Keith Wallace, to be inducted into the Harwood Union Hall of Fame. Along with family, church, community, and agriculture, education was very important to him. He felt that if youngsters, as he called them, got a quality education, they had a better chance of getting a good paying job, which would allow a more comfortable life. That's why he served on the Waterbury School Board for 28 years. Thank you for honoring his years of service to the town of Waterbury, the Harwood Union School District, and the state of Vermont. We would like to congratulate the other Harwood Hall of Fame 2019 inductees. Thank you for your service to the Harwood community, the state of Vermont, and the United States.
Wilbur Mac Mccallister was a member of the class of 1950 at Waterbury High School and participated in one-act plays his junior and senior years. He was a member of the varsity basketball team 1948 through 50 and varsity baseball team 1948 through 50. He was a member of the, I got away from myself here. He was selected for the 1949-50 Green Mountain League All-Star basketball team. Mac played on the 1950 Frosh baseball team, received his BS from the University of Vermont in 1955 and his MED in 1972. From 1955 through 62, he taught social studies, algebra, geometry, and grade school physical education at BFA in Fairfax High School and coached basketball and baseball. Twice he was selected Basketball Coach of the Year in the Northwestern League. He continued to coach basketball and teach social studies at Essex High School 1962 through 66. 1968 found Mac the Frosh baseball coach at the University of Vermont. 1967 through 2002 completed 35 years of game filming service to the University of Vermont Athletic Department. During that period of time, he had several photographers assisting him as they filmed games for Norwich University, Middlebury College, South Burlington, and Essex High Schools, and the high school state championships in girls and boys soccer, basketball, ice hockey, gymnastics, lacrosse, baseball, softball, field hockey, and cheerleading. Mac served the Waterbury Congregational Church as a youth group leader and volunteer usher. He was a Waterbury Cemetery board member. 1949-50 found him in the Vermont National Guards in Waterbury, and 1954 through 60, the United States Army Reserve at 40th and Allen. In 2002, he received the UVM Athletic Award for his service. In 2007, he was elected into the Vermont Principal Association Hall of Fame. Mac received the Shrine Maple Sugar Bowl Appreciation Award in 2008 for 25 years of producing official Shrine game films and sales money for Shrine hospitals. 2014 brought selection into the Norwich University Athletic Hall of Fame. Mac states that his greatest accomplishment in 50 years of filming sports is the marketing of tapes and DVDs that were used to grant scholarships to young people going to college. It is my pleasure to ask Wilbur Mac Mccallister to please come forward. It is, isn't it? Congratulations. They're going to want to take a picture of us over here. All right. I'll hang on to this for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. First, I'd like to thank the committee, the Hall of Fame committee, for the introduction this evening, and also to congratulate the other inductees. When I was notified that I was being inducted, it took me back to my years in Waterbury High School. And it was 4 good years where I had teachers like Mrs. Bisbee, Mrs. Goff, and Mr. Rowe, of course. And then the last 2 years, I had a coach by the name of Steve Doran, who really helped me and was a mentor. And I guess you'd call me I will say I was a fair athlete. I won't say I was a good, because I didn't have college coaches coming knocking on my door to come to that college. But anyways, I had fun and I enjoyed it. I went on to UVM, and one night while I was home during semesters, I ran into a group of young people, and among them was a young lady that really took my interest. And tonight I'd like to advance this and tell you something that I am extremely proud of, and I hope my family is. I know they are. Back in August, the latter part of August, Marlene Poland and I celebrated our 64th wedding anniversary. And how she put up with me for all that time, I don't know. But anyways, as has been said, I coached, taught and coached, and then I got involved in the business of sports films. And when I got involved in that, I was like a bear that had just found an open jar of honey. I ate it up. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoy it today. Steve and I filmed a game at Northfield today. It's North University. And I filmed the second quarter of it, and after a half a century. But in that lies what I really am very, very proud of. That we have marketed tapes, VHS, also, they're all the way up through, from starting with films all the way up through. And I found out that these tapes, or whatever they were, have been used by high school coaches, by parents, by grandparents, by friends, neighbors, and they'd send them off to college to help get their young people an education. And now, as I stand here before you, I am extremely proud to know that out in this world today are men and women who have used our films, and you notice I say our films, because never did it alone. And I don't know anybody who could do it alone. I have sitting at this table my family, and they are the greatest group of people you could ever want to meet. I have 2 daughters, a son, 3 grandsons, 2 young ladies who we officially, not officially, but unofficially, have kind of adopted as our granddaughters, and a stepson who's top of the world. And every time I've done anything, my wife, Marlene, and the family has stood behind me 100%. So I'm so proud that there are people in this world that are using my films, or our films, excuse me. Steve has been a great partner. He can do things with a camera that I never thought I could do. And he's pretty good with the computer, too. and I'm not. In closing, though, I want to thank the selection committee for selecting me and feeling that what I have done is an honor to be bestowed upon. And I am worthy of it. This is a great organization, the Harwood Hall of Fame. And I am very proud to accept it because it's a local award. It's not like the other two or three that I have mentioned. This is a district of Harwood Union, which includes Waterbury High School and Waitsfield High School and all the other schools. And so it makes a difference, I think, that it's a award that is of your hometown. Now, I'm very proud, again, to be a graduate of Waterbury High School in the class of 1950. I'm very proud that I live in the town of Waterbury, that I live in a house that was built by my great-grandfather, William Deal, and I am the fourth generation, and Steve's my fifth generation that's lived in this house. And I will admit that I am very proud of the colors orange and black. And yes, after all these years, I'm still a Longhorn. Thank you.
Diane Phillips was a member of the class of 1967 at West Reading High School in West Reading, Pennsylvania. She was senior editor of the yearbook and staff business manager for the school newspaper. Honor Society 3 years, 3 years of presidency. School plays 6 years, leads. And musicals 4 years, leads. She played varsity field hockey 2 years, co-captain 1 year. Varsity basketball 2 years, and ran in the famous Penn relays. Diane sang in the chorus 4 years, select girls ensemble 3 years, district chorus 4 years, county chorus 4 years, regional chorus her senior year, and state chorus her senior year. She won the Berks County Young Musicianship Award her junior year and performed a solo with the Reading Symphony Orchestra. She was also honored to perform in the Binden Woods Summer Concert Series for a 2,000-plus audience. Her education continued at Lebanon Valley College, receiving a BS in 1971 in music education. She sang in the chapel choir, concert touring choir, and was a cheerleader 4 years. I don't know how she kept her singing voice, but during the 1988 and 1989 summers, she earned a CAS, or Certificate of Advanced Study degree in Fine Arts Administration in Fitchburg State. In 1973, Diane began her 39-year career at Harwood, where she was vocal music director and middle school music and theater arts 7 through 12 teacher. She was a music department head 1991 through 2012, assisted with all of the musicals, head of the National Honor Society, HEA secretary 20-plus years, NEASC, or the Accreditation Organization, Department Committee Chair 3 times, and Head Administration Committee 1 time. Diane was the director and coach of student preparation, rehearsing, auditioning for district, state, and New England festivals. She was the Winooski Valley Music District Treasurer 10 years, Festival audition host 1999 through 2012, jazz festival host since early 2000s, and All-State Music Festival adjudicator for sight reading, 15 plus years. Her select ensemble, I Cantori, sang at Waterbury and State House tree lighting ceremonies, national anthems at Harwood basketball games, 25 plus years at Harwood graduation, and many other occasions. The Harwood Choir was the first to visit and perform in the USSR in 1985. Harwood is the first school in the state to develop and have a music technology lab. Diane performed in professional ensembles, Baroque Court, 1987 through 1994, Simple Gifts, 1995, 2000 through 2001, South County Chorus in Accord, 2002 through 2017. She performed with In Accord for 12 years at First Night Burlington. Diane retired from Harwood Union in 2012. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Diane Phillips back to Harwood after traveling from North Carolina to be with us and to ask her to please come forward. I'll hang on to this one last thing for you to hang on to.
The picture or something?
Well, we do, yeah. I don't know where she's going to be. Right over here.
Okay.
She changed her place. I can't keep track of it.
There she goes. Been a long time since I've been here. Brings back a lot of memories. First and foremost, I would like to thank the members of the Harwood Hall of Fame Committee for hosting this event, and the many friends and family members of the inductees for sharing this evening with us. I am deeply honored to be receiving this prestigious award, and would like to thank especially Dwight Fiske, who I've had many wonderful phone conversations over the past 2 years, sharing my addresses like, where are you now, Diane? And talking about former colleagues and our families. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge again, even though it's in the program and you'll hear it soon, Sudha Pratt for initiating this wonderful honor for all of you that have already received it and those of us who are here tonight. Her efforts to make this a part of our Harwood community and honoring members of the community. And thank goodness she brought me on, because that was the right idea. We get some arts people in here too, right? Not that there's anything wrong with sports. Thank you, Sue. When I walked into Harwood 46 years ago, I would never have guessed that I would spend my entire teaching career here, 39 years. It's a lot of years. They went by quickly, and a lot of wonderful things happened. All the people I have met during my tenure here, colleagues, students, administrators, community members, have touched my life in many ways. And I'm grateful and proud to call Harwood my school. I've heard it said that people come into our life for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. But I don't know if I believe that's true. But I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say that I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
That was a great addition to the program, Diane. Thank you. Sudha Pratt was a member of the class of 1970 at Burlington High School. She graduated in 1974 from the University of Vermont. She was one of the top athletes in the 70s, excelling in basketball, volleyball, and softball. Sue was inducted into the UVM Athletic Hall of Fame 1991. Sue became the first full-time female member of the St. Michael's Athletic Department in 1976 and is considered one of the most influential people in the history of St. Michael's College athletics. She served as varsity coach of basketball, field hockey, volleyball, softball, and lacrosse at different times. She was named Assistant Athletic Director in 1986. Sue is one of 5 New England Division II women basketball coaches to surpass 300 career wins and was inducted into the St. Michael's College Hall of Fame in 1995. She was elected to the 2001 New Agenda Northeast Women's Hall of Fame and the New England Basketball Hall of Fame in 2006. Sue began her career as Director of Athletics and Activities at Harwood Union in 2003. Her first budget process brought increased funding and support for all programs. She created the first student athlete and coach's handbook, a full-time position of certified athletic trainer, assistant AD for care and prevention of injuries, concussion care, CPR, and training for coaches was created. Under her guidance, the athletic department added fully funded varsity sports for boys ice hockey, lacrosse, and girls ice hockey, lacrosse, and volleyball. The pay-to-play for all hockey was eliminated. There was a period of years where Harwood won more state championships than at any other time. Sue takes pride for being instrumental in revising Harwood Union's fire emergency drill protocols and procedures. She was also instrumental in drafting and revising a facility use policy, ensuring that state and federal laws were followed. She managed field trips and fundraising. The Harwood Calcutta raised funds for programs not included in the general budget. Sue is most proud to have secured a policy change in academic athletic eligibility that more closely aligns athletics with a Harwood educational mission to provide opportunities for all students to to experience the benefits of co-curricular participation, class attendance, good behavior in school and at events, and working on academic shortcomings became the new standard. She says she was and continues to be so honored to have worked with such amazing coaches and students. Sue was the creator of the Harwood Union Hall of Fame. She retired from Harwood in 2017. With great pleasure, I welcome Sudha Pratt back to Harwood. Will you please come forward?
Spoiler, there will be no singing. None. For those of you who have had the incredible honor of getting the phone call from Dwight Fiske, and to any of you who may someday in the future have the incredible honor of getting the phone call from Coach Fiske, you'll know what I'm talking about when I get to this part of the conversation. He calls you up and he's got such a lovely, even tone when you talk with him, right? Doesn't he? And, you know, I've known Coach Fiske for like 1,000 years. And we're jibber-jabbering and he finally gets to the point. And I'm gonna bet he says close to the same thing every time. He basically says, "It is my great honor to inform you that you have been selected by the Hall of Fame Committee for the Harwood Union Hall of Fame." I, to that point, didn't know he worked for any other halls of fame, but you know, it happens. And then, so then you get this like wicked rush. You're like, let me sit down. I'm good. I'm cool. And wow, Coach, that's just awesome. And then the next thing he said, you start to say, who houses in that class? And he tells you, and the first thing that runs through your brain, you remember when your mom said, you're going to be known by the company you keep? I heard that list of humans with whom I'm going to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. I said, Mama, you'd have been awful proud of your little girl. Congratulations to the Hall of Fame inductees tonight. It's such an honor just to have my name on the program with you all. And thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. Oh, and then there's the other thing that Coach Fiske says. As I tell everyone, the dress is business casual. Wait, but not Vermont business casual. I wanted to wear my damn sweatshirt just for that, but I didn't. Thomas Jefferson said, I find as I grow older that I love those most whom I've loved first. I want you to just hold on to that for a minute because we'll get back to that one. Those of you, Hall of Famers, inductees, everybody who's been in love with something, you have that aha moment, that moment where you fell off the cliff and there was no saving you. You were in love with whatever it was. You were in love with performing. You were in love with athletics. You were in love with singing. Not that there's anything wrong with singing. So I just want to tell you a short story about my aha moment. I was like 10 years old. And the World Series was on. My mom was a big baseball fan. And at the time, not a Yankees fan, Red Sox fan, nobody fan. She was a fan of baseball. She loved the big hitters, the big pitchers. She just loved that. And the World Series comes on, and I'm like 10 years old or so. And she says, we're going to stay home, and we're going to watch the World Series, because this is a long time ago. There's no night baseball. We're going to watch the World Series. She says, Mom, I can't. I've got an arithmetic test tomorrow. That's how long ago it was. The good sisters didn't teach math. It was arithmetic. A few years later, we graduated to Roman numerals, but that doesn't matter. So Mom, I have an arithmetic test tomorrow. And she says, Mug, big fan of education, really pushed her kids. Don't don't they teach arithmetic every day? I'm like, well, yeah. She goes, Koufax only pitches every 5 days. You're staying home. I'm okay with this. We watched the World Series. I fell in love with baseball, probably because my mother fell in love with baseball. And that kind of set my path, and I know that. And I've had the great good fortune. This is kind of like not just coming back home because I retired a couple years ago and now I'm back to Harwood. I did my student teaching here in like 1974 or something. And my first real professional job was at St. Michael's, and I coached college basketball for 1,000 years. And my first it wasn't a videotape, it was an 8mm film, Mac McAllister did for me at St. Mike's. And I worked with Mac for probably close to 1,000 years. We're both a little old, Mac. And so I get this, like, it's a big circle, isn't it? It's a great big circle. And it was more than my honor, it almost felt like a duty to help Harwood, to help us, this wonderful community, to have something like this Hall of Fame. And our Halls of Fame really should be more than how many points you scored and how many goals you scored and how many state championships you won. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful. It is to be honorable. It is to be compassionate. And to make a difference by living a life well lived." We don't remember the state championships. We do, but that's not it. What it really is are all those hugs of sometimes incredibly gross-smelling hockey players, but the hugs. I've done a lot of stuff. When you're not a coach anymore, you don't get to feel like you directly impact the success of much. But I think what I learned while I was here at Harwood is that you really do become a family. You become a family. And we hugged each other after terrible, painful losses. We hugged each other at state championship games. We hugged each other when our families and friends lost stuff to Irene. And this whole great big community held in their anger and held open their arms and hugged this community when we lost those 5 beautiful lives. None of it happens, none of it makes any sense if it's not about the people around you. That Thomas Jefferson quote, I find as I grow older, I love those most whom I love first. That's true. I would add, and I love those who have loved me back. Harwood, thank you for loving me back.
Todd Shropshire graduated in the class of 1987 from Harwood Union and was in the concert band and wind ensemble 2 years and the National Honor Society. He participated in varsity soccer 4 years, varsity basketball 2 years, and track and field 4 years. He was a member of the 1983-1984 Boys Division II Vermont State Championship soccer teams. He was selected to play in the 1987 Twin State soccer game, but was unable to play due to a torn plantar fascia in his foot. Todd was a member of the 4x100 team that set a state record at the 1985 Division II Vermont State Track and Field Championships. He placed second in the 110 high hurdles and second in the 300 intermediate hurdles at the 1986 Division II Vermont State Championships. He participated in the 1984 All New England Track and Field meet in the triple jump. He was selected for the 1987 Harwood Outstanding Male Athlete Award based on his outstanding work ethic, camaraderie, and physical skills. His top-level academic work won him the 1987 Male Harwood Scholar Athlete Award. Todd attended Gordon College, where he played soccer 4 years, received the 1994 Scholar Athlete Award, and his BS in Movement Science magna cum laude in 1994. Newville College, 1994-96, selected him for the 1994 Physical Therapy Excellence Award and the 1994 Physical Therapy Research Award Master's Thesis. He graduated with a BS and MS in Physical Therapy summa cum laude 1996. Todd has served as lab instructor at Nazareth College and Ithaca College, adjunct faculty at Ithaca College, Federation of State Boards of Physical Therapy Steering Committee, and Federation of State Boards of Physical Therapy Item Writer Workshops, Alexandria, Virginia. He has made multiple presentations in physical therapy in North and South Carolina and New York. He made mission trips to Mexico 1990 and Ethiopia 2014. He served his church in the choir, inner city youth ministry, community outreach, assistance for mentally and physically disabled, summer church camp, Sunday school teacher, and provider in the church nursery. Todd is presently physical therapist, orthopedic sports medicine, clinic manager for Ortho Carolina in Charlotte, North Carolina. I wish you were in Charlotte. Excuse me for that. Having traveled from North Carolina to be with us tonight, I would like to ask Todd Shropshire to please come forward.
Well, good evening, and I am so happy and thrilled to be here this evening. It's hard to believe it's been 32 years since I've set foot in this building, and 23 years since I've actually been back to Vermont. My parents retired back in '96 to Virginia, so unfortunately I didn't have a reason to come back to Vermont until this great opportunity came along. And I would just like to thank the Harwood Hall of Fame and the committee for this great honor, an extremely humbling experience and nomination. No way 32 years ago would I have ever imagined that I'd be standing up here being inducted to my high school's Hall of Fame. So thank you very much for that. And congratulations to the other inductees that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. It was an interesting experience when I first got the letter from Mr. Fiske. And again, just the excitement of, wow, I'm being inducted into my high school's Hall of Fame. Then came the laughter and the ridicule and the mocking by my children as we looked through the yearbook at all my pictures, how my hair was, how I was dressed, looking just to reflect and remember all the different things that I did when I was in high school. But what this induction to the Hall of Fame offered me the opportunity to do was to share with my kids what you do now matters. 32 years later, I'm being recognized for something I had no idea I'd ever be recognized for. And at the time, I was a high school kid. I mean, I didn't know. I was just doing what I did. But I'm being honored for that tonight. And again, a very humbling opportunity and experience. But I really just love that opportunity to share with my kids. Make a significant impact now. What you do now matters. People are watching what you're doing. So go out there, work your best, do your hardest, and let's see what God does with your life. So thank you very much. And I'd like to thank my wife for coming out here with me. It's a very whirlwind weekend for us and a short trip in out, so I'm so thankful she's been here. She's been my rock, supporting, pushing me to be a better husband, better father, and to make a significant impact. And as I do think back to my time here at the school, I'm so very thankful for many of the teachers I had. because part of who I am today, and I believe my character, my work ethic, comes from many of the excellent teachers I have here. And I had a great chance to catch up with Mr. Yando when he walked in tonight, and he was one of the first teachers I had in 7th grade. And scared me a bit when I first had him, but he set me on the straight and narrow, and I think that got me going through the rest of my high school career. But I just think of so many different teachers. I had Mr. Lieberman, Mrs. Corey, had 1 year with Diane Phillips, Hal Getty, Mr. Fiske, Mr. Dean, just so many excellent teachers that poured so much into me and pushed me to do my best, that helped me carry that on through my college year and even to this date as I keep growing and learning. So thank you again so very much. I'm very honored and I'm so very humbled to be up here receiving this induction. Thank you.
Roy Tuscany graduated in the class of 1999 from Harwood Union. He received academic honors recognition at Harwood. He participated in cross-country 3 years, alpine skiing 4 years, captain 1 year, and baseball 2 years. He was a member of the 1996 Boys Vermont State Runner-Up Division II cross-country team and the 1997 and 1998 Boys Vermont State Championship Division II cross-country teams. His 1997 and 1998 teams participated in the New England Championships. Roy continued his education at the University of Vermont, receiving his BS in Mechanical Engineering in 2004. After graduation, he was a freeride ski coach for the Sugar Bowl Academy near Lake Tahoe, California, while pursuing a career as a professional skier. In April 2006, Roy suffered a fall that paralyzed his lower body and was told by doctors that he would never walk again. After 2 years of grueling work in physical therapy, he skis, bikes, and surfs using adaptive equipment created for people with paralysis. Roy wanted to help other athletes injured in severe accidents. In January 2009, he started the High Five Foundation, a nonprofit that provides injury prevention awareness as well as resources to people who have had spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injuries, amputations, or other injuries affecting mobility. The foundation raises funds that go toward athletes and war veterans' rehabilitation, costs including physical therapy, personal training, massage therapy, living and travel expenses, and adaptive sports equipment. It hosts adaptive surf, ski, and other sports camps throughout the year. The foundation has a safety program and a full-time gym that has a no-cost, no-question rehabilitation process. The High Five Foundation produces a safety education documentary each year. It provides it at no cost to schools, ski clubs, organizations, and distributes it online in an attempt to catch an athlete before they crash. Another program takes critically wounded veterans to Squaw Valley for a week of skiing, snowboarding, and other fun activities. It raised $1.5 million in 2007 to kickstart its program. To date, the foundation has helped over 200 athletes from 31 states get back into the game. Roy is unable to be with us this evening due to a speaking engagement. With great pleasure, I ask his father, Alec Tuscany, to please come forward.
Go ahead. Would you
Hi, my
go ahead
name
and
is
play that
Dwight,
first?
and it's an absolute honor to be inducted into the Harwood Hall of Fame. I'm not there tonight because my girlfriend and I recently gave birth to this little guy, Gunnar Owen Alexander Tuscany, aka the GOAT. This little guy is a special bundle of joy, and just like this amazing honor, I want to say how happy I am as an individual. While at Harwood, I had two individuals that really changed my life. Coach John Kerrigan in Kerrigan's Army, 1999 state champ for cross country, and Miss Stahl, English teacher, who taught me how to be the adult that I am. Now, the last person I want to make sure gets involved in this induction is the guy that will accept the award on my behalf tonight. The guy who taught me about character, hard work, and always showing up to be your best. I want to introduce my father, Alex Tuscany. He'll be accepting this award on my behalf tonight. And the three of us, we make up 3 generations of amazing Tuscany men, and it's an absolute honor to say that not only myself, my dad, and Gunnar are going to join me in the Hall of Fame here at Harwood. So thank you all tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you, and it's an absolute honor to be inducted and recognized by my alma mater about my accomplishments and what I've been able to do, and have our community recognize these to support me. Thank you all, and to all, good night.
I do want to mention Mitch Casey, who couldn't be here tonight. Roy was fortunate enough to have 4 years of Little League coaching from Mitch. And it certainly helped him become the baseball player he was when he got to high school. One other story about high school. Harwood was playing Winooski, and Roy's grandfather grew up in Winooski and was a 3-star athlete at Winooski. And Harwood was at Winooski, and his grandfather was there. Roy played third base that game, made some good plays, and his grandfather's friends, who also had been athletes, always went to all the Winooski games. And one of the friends turned and said, "Who's that guy playing third base?" And his grandfather, with a big grin, said, "That's my grandson." And Roy had a very special arrangement with his grandfather. When Roy started skiing, we took him to Bolton. Well, the school took him to Bolton, and we'd go pick him up. I think it was 5th and 6th grade. And he was supposed to be taking lessons, and so we'd get up there to pick him up, and he was never with a lessons group. He was with his buddies who knew how to ski better, and he learned from them. He also got into extreme skiing without us really knowing about it. He still has that wild side, even injured, and I don't think he'll ever lose it. It makes him part of what he is. When we got the call in 2006 that he'd been injured, it's one of those things, you want to get on the airplane and get there as soon as possible, but then you don't want to get on that plane because what's your son going to look like? When we arrived, Roy had a choice. He could have chosen to accept the fact he'd never walk again and take that road. But he didn't. He chose to work as hard as he could, and he still does. And if you're wondering where the name High Five comes from, during the initial recovery and therapy, the nurses and doctors, how, for you who have been to hospitals and stuff, they're a little standoffish. And Roy immediately said, if we're going to work together, every day you're going to come in here and give me a high five to start. And they did, and that's how the foundation name started. We've already heard some of the stuff he does. I've met a lot of the athletes, a lot of them seriously injured. One of the programs that they've put out is Helmets Are Cool. It's a video. And Roy even got his dad to wear a helmet when I ride my bike. Because if kids see their parents doing things that should be done, kids are more apt to follow. I spent 30 years in the Army and Air National Guard. And one of the things that brings a tear to my eyes every time is seeing this Military on the Mountain program that was briefly talked about. And a video that I saw was 2 military veterans, one with no legs, one with one leg. And they put him through a program of getting him acclimated, exercising and stuff. And the exercise at that moment was they needed to touch their toes. And what you see is 2 guys, one touching his one toe and the other guy with no legs reaching over and touching the same toe. One of the individuals said to Roy, "Thank God you contacted me, because all I had left was a pistol and a bottle of Jack Daniels." So I'm so proud of what my son does for the whole High Five program, but in particular that Military on the Mountain. So I thank you for him. I am damn proud of him. And he'll continue to do what he's doing forever, because that's the way he is. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to unveil the permanent plaques for the 2019 inductees. They will join the previous 9 years of inductee plaques that are in the Hall of Fame trophy case in our gymnasium lobby. I would like Sudha Pratt and Todd Shropshire to come forward and unveil the plaques, please. Thank you, Sue and Todd. Would all of the inductees please join Todd and Sue at the plaques for a group photo? I'd like to close the evening by thanking you for attending and ask you to drive safely on the way home. Thank you.